tonight's meeting is basically going to be divided into three parts. The first part is to discuss a program through the Texas Department of Rural Affairs called the STEP Grant. And someone from Austin will be here tonight to address y'all and talk to y'all about that. That is one of the options we're considering for funding to get emergency water line to your city. The second part of the program will be to give the engineer a chance and opportunity to discuss the proposed construction activities that need to be addressed to address your water shortage needs and to outline the other financial funding options that the city is considering. The third part of the meeting will open up to the public for questions and answers. So I've asked Ms. Tammy Fulton from the Texas Department of Rural Affairs to come first and give us a brief overview of one of the grant programs that we're considering. And so since she's from Austin and may not be able to stay for the entire meeting, I've asked her to go first. So at this time, I would like to introduce Tammy Fulton from Texas Department of Rural Affairs. Thank you.
A little bit shorter than Valerie. Thank you so much for everybody coming out in the droves tonight. It is so wonderful to see a community coming out together to try to work out some of their water problems they're having in this area. I'm Tammy Fulton from the Texas Department of Rural Affairs, and our agency is totally dedicated to rural Texas and helping them with their infrastructure needs. I do understand that we have a very desperate need here in this community, and your mayor, your community has contacted our agency to see what options they have with available grants. And tonight we'll be talking about the Small Town Environmental Grant, which I'm sorry, I only made 200 of these, and we have lots more people, but some of you do have the handouts, but I'm going to try to make it brief because I know that you work all day and you may have a long meeting tonight, but I will just kind of go over the qualifications of receiving one of these type grants. The Small Town Environmental Program Grant, otherwise known as STEP, is a unique grant. It utilizes local volunteers to do the majority of the construction work on this particular grant. The money does not have to be paid back to the state. The community does not have to put up matching funds out of pocket. The sweat equity or volunteers out there doing a lot of the work is what we consider the match part of this grant. So the way this works is tonight we're having a town hall meeting. We're talking about the project. We're letting you know how the program works. And we're here to see if this community has enough local volunteers that are willing to be a part of this project. Now, we may only be a small part. There's two other agencies that are also working with this community. We're kind of pulling all of the agencies that we can together to see if we can assist this community. So tonight we'll talk about the project. We'll ask, how many of you are willing to chip in and do some volunteer work. And then they'll discuss the project with you after this meeting. What happens next is the community will turn in an assessment or like a pre-application to our agency, and it will give us a list of all of the volunteers, what they will be doing. Now we have construction and non-construction volunteers that assist on this project. We need lots of volunteers, not only to do construction work, but to bring out food, bring out water, babysit, organize the volunteers. So this program is all about volunteers coming together to help resolve a water issue. There needs to be a 40% cost savings between retail and doing it versus volunteers. The project must benefit 51% low to moderate income folks. And majority of the work, like we said, is done by local volunteers. There are also going to be city and county employees out there working with the volunteers. It's really a group effort. We also like donated equipment that the community all comes together, donates equipment in order to do the construction on the project. We also pay for administration and engineering to be done on this project, and it's a 2-year commitment. And you may actually, if you get a grant, it may not take you 2 years to do the project. If you have a lot of volunteers and you're very organized, and you may get it done a lot quicker. But volunteers need to know that they're making a 2-year commitment, and construction may not start right away. We have to do some clearances first, get our environmental cleared, TCEQ clearance. So, but I know this is a very urgent need, so I think some of those things may be happening a lot quicker than normal projects. So like I said, this is a grant that goes up to $350,000, which is more than the regional allocations for our regular community development block grant program. So $250,000 can go a long way when you're putting that together with some other agencies. So how many people here would be willing to volunteer to help lay some water line in order to get water to your community? Let me see your hands. Great. That's wonderful. That's what we want to see. Well, what the community will be doing is, like I said, the next step will be putting in an application. We will then assess those applications as quickly as possible, and then we will need the community to choose what we call spark plugs, or 3 leaders on the project. You might even want to have more if you have a larger project and a lot of volunteers, but we need someone who's going to be there and help coordinate the equipment with the construction and the engineering. We need a really good person that's going to be organizing the volunteers, helping make out schedules, organizing food, water, things that will be brought out to the project while the volunteers are working. So as many spark plugs as you want to help lead the project would be great. But you can start discussing that and thinking about that as well. So like I said, this particular grant is for the communities that are in desperate need of services and they can't get the grant funds any other way. It's offered twice a year. And so as I was speaking with Valerie, if you start this project with one grant and you need to do more work, you can always apply for another grant. We do have grants going on simultaneously, okay, as long as you're not way behind schedule and you're pretty much on target. The good thing about this grant program is it's offered twice a year. Our other CD program is offered every other year, and it's very competitive. But I will say that this grant is challenging because the construction is being done by local volunteers. But if you are up to the challenge, which a lot of our communities have had very successful projects, then it should be a successful project if you're funded. We have communities, a lot of communities in East Texas especially, that are utilizing these grants. I have one small community called Anona. They have already replaced their entire city, all the water lines in their entire city, by utilizing this grant program. So it is an option. It's an option for the city to think about, consider. We will do everything in our power to work with the community and the other agencies involved in hopefully helping you resolve this water problem and water issue that you have going on right now. And I believe that pretty much explains the STEP program, and I will turn it back over to Valerie. Thank you.
I would like to add one thing to this. I've administered several STEP projects and I've seen communities come together. How many of y'all several years ago remember when the city of Throckmorton ran out of water? We ran 32 miles of line in 2 weeks and put in a pump station and a ground storage tank. Now, some of that was outside financing too, so we had contractors doing part of it, but the city came together and we brought in labor from other places, and other cities came in and helped us. So it can be done, especially when the city is the danger of running out of water. Now, I'd like to move on